Hello and welcome to Richmond for today's race in the nr2003, 2007, but it follows the 2026 scheduled sim series. Kyle Busch is put on the pole position with Ryan Newman beside him. But before we get into the rest of the lineup, let's look at the points heading into this race, as we have only 3 races left until the end of the regular season. Only 40 cars out here tonight, because that's all this version of Richmond allows. But Kyle Busch is on the pole, as mentioned before, with Ryan Newman was outside. Greg Biffle and Jeff Burton make up row number 2, with Mike Martin and Matt Kenseth in row number 3. Denny Hamlin and Dale Earnhardt Jr. in row number 4. Hamlin won the last 2 races in a row, with Jimmy Johnson and Tony Stewart in row number 5. Jamie McMurray, one of those guys battling for the last chase spot, in row number 6, with Kurt Busch outside, and Jeff Gordon and Kevin Harvick in row number 7. Clint Boyer and Carl Edwards in row number 8, with Bobby Labonte and Casey Mears in row 9. Labonte, another one of those drivers, fighting for one of the last chase spots. J.J. Yaley and Martin Truex Jr. in row number 10, with David Ragan and Tony Raines in row number 11. Casey Kane and Jeff Green in row number 12. With Kyle Petty and Elliott Sadler in row number 13. Juan Montoya and David Gilliland in row number 14. David Ruderman and Joe Nemechek getting another new ride this week. And the 78 car, they make up row number 15. Row 16 is the Waltrip teammates of Michael Waltrip and Dale Jarrett, with Johnny Sauter and Paul Menard in row number 17. Row 18, you have Reed Sorensen and Dave Blaney, with Robbie Gordon and David Stremme in row 19, and Kenny Wallace and Bill Elliott round out the field in row number 20. 3 stages tonight, 33 and 82 are one of those 2 stages end, but without further ado, let's go down trackside to get the command to fire up these engines.
Drivers, start your engines!
And the engines are fired up here at Richmond. As you see the field now roll up onto the banking. The short tracks in this series have been a little chaotic this season. Martinsville, I guess, being an outlier, was pretty calm. Iowa was a wreck fest last week. So what can you expect today? Well, we don't really know. So in the main keys, stay out of trouble, manage your tires well. This could end up being a tire race when we get to the end, and be there at the end. But here we come to the green flag here at the Richmond Raceway. 3 races to go in the chase, 160 laps under the lights, green flags in the air. We are underway from Richmond. It's a great launch by Kyle Busch, who immediately clears and a little bit overdrives it just a little bit. He's going to be fine for now, but Greg Biffle is going to be looking low as they head to turn 3. Busch and Biffle 1-2 as they come to complete lap number 1 here at Richmond. Martin battling side by side for second. 3 wide for the back, and we got a crash already. Jeff Green going for a slide off 2. Elliott Sadler going for a roll. So too, Jeff Green in the 66. Bobby Gordon in the 7 caught up in it. Johnny Sauter in the 70. And the caution, well, it only took until lap 2.5. Robbie Gordon, who was sporting a different Jim Beam car tonight. Heavy damage to that number 7 car. Let's take a look at what happened here. You saw these guys. Oh, Eddie. Jeff Green up the hill. And that ended up getting him hooked. And just nowhere for a lot of these guys to go. I think Sauter and Waltrip might be able to continue. Sorensen is also a possibility, but I think Green, Sadler, and Robbie Gordon are done for the day. Now you see, we jump to the field. field in pit road now. Several cars stay out though. Busch, Biffle, Kenseth, Labonte, Montoya. There's Mark Martin coming off the Labonte. One of those guys that needs a good point night as we're closing in on the chase. Sorensen, Green, Sadler, Sauter, and Robbie Gordon are out of the race. Michael Waltrip going to be able to continue, not very surprising, since he took arguably the least damage out of the wreck. Sauter didn't look too damaged, but I guess it was terminal enough to take him out. That's 5 cars out already. And a blow for Elliott Sadler, who wasn't close to the chase bubble, but he was still in contention to make the chase. But that's probably going to be put to an end here tonight at Richmond. But Busch and Biffle are going to lead us back to the green flag here. Single file now, maybe a little less chaotic. We will see. Green flag back in the air. Already Biffle on the back number of Kyle Busch. Point leader Matt Kenseth is there as well. Biffle slides up. That's going to allow teammate Kenseth into the second position here as they head to turn number 3. And we got a caution again. It's Dave Blaney and Dale Jarrett. That's a bit of an odd one. So someone stacked up back here. Well, I guess, yeah, because everyone's braking to make turn 1, you know. So obviously then Dave Blaney back here. So thinking I can make up a bunch of spots. Kenny Wallace on 88 gets in him and he just naps the 44 as he's coming back up the track. Biffle gonna come down pit road now, as well as a bunch of the guys that already pitted. So a bit of an interesting strategy split. Kyle Busch still has not come down pit road here so far in this race. You know, Hendrick Motorsports has been good all this summer. I won't say they've fallen off because Jeff Gordon won a few weeks ago at North Wilkesboro. It's only just been Denny Hamlin the past few weeks. But we'll see if Kyle Busch can get Hendrick back in victory lane. Matt Kenseth also won again at Atlanta. You saw that. And the photo finish with Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's going to be trailing Kyle Busch back to the green flag. And we're back racing. Let's keep an eye further back in the field to see if another stack up like that of the last restart happens. No, it sort of does, but no one jumps out of line. The AI being smart here to not recreate that last accident, which easily could have been avoided. But Kyle Busch still leads here at Richmond. You know, the longest green flag run's been like, what, a lap and a half so far? So these guys just trying to get into a rhythm here. But some of these guys have to work through some slower traffic. And that could cause some problems. But now we've made it 2 laps into a run without a caution. These guys can pat themselves on the back. Of Busch, who sat on pole position, seems to have the outright best car so far tonight. Paul Menard in pit road with some sort of issue. Ends of 8 tenths back from the 5. Montoya in the wall off 2. Hooks, Dale Jr. Somehow they... Oh! Crash! Turn 2. JJ Gailey, Kyle Petty. of JJ Yaley and brings out the caution here. Now Kyle Busch take a dive to pit road here. Yes, he will. So too does Matt Kenseth. And the 44 car of Dale Jarrett is going to be your free pass here. So he'll stay out this time around and I suppose take the free pass. But for the race off pit road, it's going to be Matt Kenseth who gets the lead ahead of Kyle Busch. Joe Nemechek with a good pit stop. He's going to be up in the top 10 for this restart. Kenseth, your point leader over Jimmy Johnson, retook his point lead back after Indianapolis, which was caused by Johnson actually not being able to start the race at Wilkesboro when he won the pole position. But it looks like they want to go green. But we may have to extend the yellow here because Palmard is actually struggling a little bit to get out of the way. Now it'll be about 10 laps until the restart, with Matt Kenseth now holding the race lead. And green flag back in the air. We're going to take a look back to the midfield again to make sure they don't stack it up and cause a wreck. Again, Newman to the inside of the as Biffle tries to get around Joe Nemechek and Kyle Busch immediately trying to get around Matt Kenseth in the 20. Side by side for the race lead down the front straightaway. Kenseth's gonna slide up here from 1 and 2. He's gonna clear Stewart off 2, though may have a little bit of momentum toward the 5 car entering turn number 3 here. To see that 5 is such a good car right now that he's able to drive away. I think Stewart might have a car capable of competing with the 5 if he can just get there. Now Stewart going to take a dive to the inside on Matt Kenseth for second. Kenseth going to hang up high and they're going to run side by side down the front straightaway. It's going to be Kenseth who may remain clear in the 1. Stewart's going to stick his nose inside, and that's going to send Kenseth way up the hill. Almost contact there for the second spot. These guys still racing side by side for second. For 3 and 4 now. Stewart maybe going to be clear on Matt Kenseth as they head to 1, but Kenseth's going to be on nose to nose almost as they head into 1 again. But Stewart may finally get him clear. Kenseth not going away up top though. This is great if you're the 5 car, not great if you're the 20 who feels that he's faster than the 17. Now he does get clear after losing over half a second to the 5 car. Now he can go give chase to him. Stewart last won at Sonoma just about a month ago, actually over a month ago by now. Trying to get some momentum here before we head into the chase, but Kyle Busch might be go to the end of this stage, may catch that lapped car of Dave Blaney though, before we see that green and white checkered flag. Reading on stage 1 now, Stewart lost a little bit of time there that lap. You saw him actually go a little wide off turn 4 as they head down the back straightaway here. Boyer trying to put pressure on Kenseth for the 3rd spot. Blaney damaged from that incident he had on an earlier restart, 2 to go on the stage. Busch going to easily dispose of the 22 car to put him a lap down now. Can Tony Stewart do the same? Will Blaney take his lane away? And for Kyle Busch, the 22 does take the 20's lane away. And we have a white flag, 1 to go on stage 1. Boyer's going to get used to 22 as a pick on Kenseth. Back straightaway for the final time in this stage, and it will be Kyle Busch who dominates and comes around to win stage 1 here from Richmond. Busch over Stewart, Boyer, Kenseth, Biffle, Hamlin, Johnson, Truex, Labonte, and Harvick. Labonte crucially got stage points. Jamie McMurray in the 26 did not. Field's going to come to pit road now. Dale Jarrett got lapped right there at the end of the stage. He will get the free pass and be back on the lead lap. As you see these guys coming for their pit stops now. Busch got passed by Kenseth last time these guys were in the pits. So it'll be interesting to see if this happens again. You know, it'll be until lap 82 when we see the 2nd stage go for. But Busch comes off pit road off the lead ahead of Stewart, Boyer, and Biffle, who gets out ahead of the 17. You see Dale Jarrett just finishing up his pit service here. But we will see the Kyle Busch and Tony Stewart battle continue here in the stage number 2. Can Stewart give a challenge to the 5 car now that he's right on the back bumper? Here we go, green flag back in the air. Biffle with a good run on Boyer for 3rd as we go back racing. Real nice and early here in the 1 as you see. These guys still not stacking up again. Stewart all over Busch in the 3. The 20 gonna look a little low for the race lead. Biffle and Boyer just about half a second back. 7/10 of a second back actually. But the 20 is all over this 5 car for the race lead. Able to drive away down the back straight. We got a car. Oh, David Gillen. McMurray involved. Chase implications here. Palmard might have gotten a piece of it. David Gillen is stuck in the outside wall, and that is huge for McMurray. This was for about 20 seconds. Dale Jarrett to go. But that is a wild accident right there. Michael Waltrip will get the free pass under this yellow flag. We'll get back on the leader lap. So there's the 55 going around the field. If you remember, Waltrip was caught up in that lap 2 incident with Sauter, Sorensen, and others. Petty and Gilliland are going to be out of the race. McMurray is also out, so that makes 8 cars out of the race so far. We're not even halfway yet. Jarrett is still out here. He didn't really take a whole ton of damage, but I thought that was finished off at least. Now if you're the green flag back in the air, Bush continues to lead them to 1. Got a text coming through right now. The field nice and into that time. Well, the 5 but only did 20 across the line now. Bush leading the 20 there off turn number 2 as they head to turn number 3 now. The 20 gave the 5 a little bit of a run on the restart last time. Wasn't able to get beside him though, and that allows the 5 to drive off down the front straightaway. Stewart about 3 tenths back. Now Boyer's to his inside. Elliott and Joan Nemechek making some contact, nearly going around at a nail on 98. Kansas side by side with Johnson now. Fifth spot. These are the top 2 in the standings. And Kansas going to wrap the bottom here side by side with Johnson as they head across the stripe, about 110 laps to go here from Richmond. Still side by side with Johnson's going to get the launch off the top. Maybe hold the spot here. No, Kenseth's going to drive it in deep. Harvick free wide. That's going to allow Johnson to clear. Still, just that 110 laps deal here from Richmond. Still the 5 car leading us down the front straightaway. This 22 and 44 running about 2 seconds off the pace right now with their damage may play a factor in some of these battles here at the front of the field. 43 of Obani needs to continue having a good run, especially since the 26 got taken out and we got a crash. Trying to figure out who went around there. I think it's the 78 of Nemechek, but I'll take a look. Yep, looking to the inside on Ricky Roy. Just slide. Oh, that's Kenny Wallace this week, actually. So the Kenny Wallace saw his old ride go for a spin underneath him. And he's probably glad that's not him this week. But you see these guys coming down pit road now. With under 40 to go to the end of the stage. Or under 30 to go, excuse me. Kyle Busch has dominated this race, you know. When he was still with us in real life, he was always phenomenal at Richmond. So it's no surprise that even in the game, he's doing well tonight. Your free pass car will be Dave Blaney in the 22, actually. It will not be Palmenard in the 15. But Kyle Busch barely beats Tony Stewart out of pit road here. Coming back to the green flag here from Richmond. It'll be Busch ahead of Stewart, Boyer, Harvick, Kenseth, Hamlin, Johnson, Newman, Gordon, and Martin. Green flag back in the air. Stewart got a great jump. But Busch got a good jump there as well as the field heads off towards turn number 1. Bit of a stack out there, but everyone keeping it nice and tidy. Stewart Oliver back number 5. This may be the chance he gets to make a move. Wasn't quite close enough. He'll have to follow behind the 5 again. As they head the 1 and 2 as we close in on 100 laps to go here. But are any of these guys going to have anything to say about the 5 of Kyle Busch? As Boyer washes up the hill, is going to allow Harvick to have a look to the inside. One of these guys probably needs for Busch to get caught behind a lap car. With these slow cars like you see in the 44 car, you see Joe Nemechek coming up there. He's going to, I believe, hang on to the lead lap there actually. But he came down pit road for something. We'll see as he crosses the stripe here. Nemechek is actually going to be 1 lap down, which is not what Palmenard did not want to see another lap car, because he was in position to get the free pass here at the next yellow, which was at the moment looking like to be the stage 2 yellow in about 20 laps from now. Busch still continuing to lead over Stewart. Then you have Boyer, Harvick, Kenseth, Hamlin, Johnson, Gordon, Martin, Newman. David Reagan having a good run right there in the 12th spot. Truex Jr. and Burton battling 13th here. Caution back out. Oh, it says double zero of David Reagan, who goes around there off turn number 2. Back over there from the 25 of Casey Mears, who hasn't had a very good night tonight. Avoidance there by all these guys. David Shremming 40, and from Palmenard, who may have been upset about a car's another lap car. 78 is coming back on the lead lap here. And at the start, you saw some split strategies with these guys staying out, some pitting, but now everyone's coming. 78 cars going to stay out here. I don't know if he's going to pit on the lap car cycle. That could be the case as he follows Palmenard. Kyle Busch easily comes out of pit road if the lead order still stays relatively the same. Less than 20 to go to the end of stage number 2 here. Going to be about 15 left to the end of the stage actually, when we get the green flag right here. two are just able to get such a good jump. It's like they're catching the third place cars sleeping every time, no matter who it is. Nemechek already tried through those backwards. He got trapped behind. Gonna be side by side with Palmer now. Dave Blaney and Dale Jarrett removed the Bearhoods in their battle for next to last place. Trying to get to the inside of the 5. The 5 slides up off 4. Stewart's gonna be there. But the 5 is able to roll the top there on exit. Stewart will follow Bush's line now instead of trying something different to see if that could get him a shot at the race lead. Gonna wrap the bottom again here in 3 and 4 though. You see the 07 running a bit high as well. Stewart about 3/10 back that lap. Bush's line for 3 and 4 was better. So Stewart says, let me try the top for 1 and 2. But that costs him all of his momentum. Now Kane Porter is going to close in. Nemechek back down pit road with some sort of issue. He came down early there in stage in the last run. I thought it was just a mechanical issue, but that appears to not be the case for Nemechek. He'll be trapped 1 lap down again and have to look past those slower cars he was behind. Curious to see what the issue is on the 78 car if he does come back down pit road again. Bush leading, Stewart trailing him by about 7/10 of a second. Now going to probably be closer to 8/10. He only lost just a little bit that lap. Able to run the bottom there for 1 and 2. Bush ran a little bit high there off of 2 and 2 actually. As laps tick down to the end of stage 2 here. Stewart gained 2/10 that lap because Bush went wide off turn number 2. But now Stewart's going to have that same mistake that Bush had. And they're going to catch those 2 lap cars up there, Dale Jarrett and Dave Blaney. So that'll be interesting here to see what'll happen. But I think Stewart's going to be about 8/10 back when they hit the line here. Yeah, just 8.5 behind Kyle Busch. Here's the first lap car for Busch. That's Dale Jarrett in the 44 car. Not really gonna have a huge issue. I say that, and he got way hung up behind Dale Jarrett there off turn number 4. But Stewart's gonna have to deal with him mid-corner. Stewart having to deal with these lap cars as well. Kyle Busch, how much did his lead decrease from that, if at all? Not at all, but he's going to get hung up behind Blaney. Similarly to Stewart was hung up behind Dale Jarrett last time by. He's able to get around Blaney a little easier than Stewart was able to get around Dale Jarrett, and now Stewart's going to be able to get around Dave Blaney very easily, but he loses a 10th while doing so. 3 to go in the stage. Boyer banging doors there with the lap car of Dave Blaney's. He gets clear on 3. Blaney too slow really to have anything to say about that 07 car, his former bride. But it still continues to be the Kyle Busch clinic here at Richmond tonight. Tires falling off very quickly here in this run. It'll be interesting to see how people play the tire strategy here. Once we get to the final stage, if we see a long green flag run, white flag in stage number 2 though. Down the back straightaway for the final time in this stage, and Kyle Busch is going to, from the pole, sweep the opening 2 stages. Bring out the broom so far for Busch, stage 2 winner from Richmond. Busch over Stewart, Boyer, Hamlin, Johnson, Edwards, Martin, Harvick, Gordon, Newman. The free pass here under this yellow will go to Dave Blaney in the 22 car there. But, you know, we talked about how it'll take a mistake in pit road here, most likely, for Busch to lose the lead. We'll see if that does end up happening for him here on this pit stop. Or if anyone tries anything different. Looks nice and clean there on the 5, and it is nice and clean. Busch, Stewart, Boyer, Martin, and Edwards. Your top 5 now. Earnhardt Jr. sitting on pit road with an issue. As Blaney will get the free pass. Some sort of issue there for the 8 car. And that's going to trap him a lap down, and he'll probably need a quick caution there in stage number 3 to get back on the lead lap. Gonna extend it here a lap so that he can get by these 2 lap cars with no issue. Check in and out of pit road, getting damage repairs to his number 78 Furniture Row car. But the pace car is going to hook a left back down pit road, and we're going to have just over 70 laps to go here in stage 2 here at Richmond. Kyle Busch with the jump. But these guys were closer to him this time. Will he overdrive turn 1? Yes, he does, but he's able to make it stick. Harvick's going to go around. Stewart to the inside in turn number 3. Will he lead them back to the line? Side by side across the stripe, it's going to be Busch. Caution not out so far. Now the caution's out. Kenny Wallace going around. And that's the closest you've seen Tony Stewart getting to make. It was all sorts of stacked up. So it's not really bad. Harvick got the wall there, got hit by Newman. And I don't know why NASCAR, first of all, didn't call the caution right here. It's around 3 and 4, you know, you got cars on the apron, and the 88 goes around in front of the 21 and 44 and 22. And that just causes an unnecessary, a very unnecessary accident here early in the going in stage 3. Dale Jr. will be your free pass car. Bill Elliott's going to be out of the race from that one. Here we go, coming back to the green. Kevin Harvick fouled the race. So too did Clint Boyer. So Boyer and Harvick out of the race with mechanical issue. That's 2 of the RCR cars. But we're back green here from Richmond. All over Busch's bumper here for 3 and 4. Didn't get the chance there to make the move down a little last time by. But that's wild that 2 RCR cars fell out at once, especially Boyer, who's having such a good night, a header for the 07 and brakes for the 29. inching in on 60 laps to go here from Richmond. Dale Jarrett trying to come to pit road. He slams the pit barrels out. Now they're gonna call the caution for that. Newman had some sort of issue. He's coming off pit road. NASCAR did not call the caution for Dale Jarrett slamming into the pit barrels there. But he didn't say what the issue with Newman was, as he is now back on the racetrack 1 lap down. So he would be the front passenger if we were to get another caution here soon. Laney looked like he was going to be a bit of a problem there for Kyle Busch. Ends up not being much of one, and now Stewart's going to go straight by here in the 1. Probably very thankful that the 22 was not much of an issue for him. Is Newman going to be an issue for the 5? Or is the 5 just that much faster than everyone tonight? Because he's already gapped Stewart by a second here. He was a little wide there off turn number 2. There's Joe Nemechek in the 78 car. Busch trying to put Newman 2 laps down here in the 12. Newman trying to go 2 laps down. Had a bit of a mechanical issue or something, maybe a tire issue, which set him back here. But Busch trying to put him another lap down shouldn't be too hard of a job if Newman still has lingering issues there in his number 12 all-time. But Newman's going to hang on his outside here off 2. Another lap led there for Kyle Busch tonight, and even with that, still got Tony Stewart by 3 more tenths of a second. I want to see how these guys perform when the tires really wear out here. Because we haven't seen them under green for more than 15 laps here. So maybe here in the final stage, the tires will see the most wear we have seen out of them tonight. Maybe someone pulls a Hail Mary strategy and gets really ahead on tires. Seeing like half a second or so of fall off right now. Busch now trying to put Dale Jr. a lap down. That back end of the field seemed to have got stacked up there on that last restart, so. But Busch, it's just a clinic for him. He's ahead all but 1 lap, I believe. Stewart trying to get around Newman in the 12, going to make pretty quick work of him, I'd assume, if Newman doesn't angle the outside here, and does. So Stewart only loses a tenth while getting around Ryan Newman. You see, Joe Nemechek coming off pit road there. Busch going to catch Kenny Wallace in the 88 to put him a lap down here. Wallace has damage from that last incident. But all these guys being respectful to your race leader, just pulling over and letting him go. He has a really quick car tonight. And just showing how good his team is. He won at Phoenix and I believe Martinsville. And then kind of fell off some. Wasn't up to the pace of Gordon and Johnson here at the start of the summer. But he's been in the mix. He was in the mix at Townie. He had a damaged race car. He was caught up in the wreck there at Atlanta. And I think Chicagoland as well. He was caught up in something. I had 2 recordings for Chicagoland, so I can't remember which one he was caught up in a wreck in, so I could be telling something completely wrong. But I think we have a caution, yes we do. And it's for the 43 of Bobby Labonte, who we talked about needing to have a good night. No, it's for the 2 of Kurt Busch, who spun out Truex was in the ball as well as Kenseth. So, multiple things happening right there. So, Truex and Kenseth got the ball. Busch lost it there beneath Jeff Burton. Nowhere to go for Labonte. Gets hit by Casey Mears. Michael Waltrip hard enough on the brakes to get by. Kyle Busch down pit road now. First car 1 lap down is David Shremy. He'll get the free pass. Kyle Busch, again, easily going to come off pit road with the lead, but Jeff Gordon's going to be in third now. But David Shremy did not pit here. I thought he was going to dive for pit road with these other lap down cars. May actually end up coming down this time, potentially. That's what I would expect him to do. Yep, he's going to do exactly that. I'm gonna just extend it by 1 precautionarily. Looks like Shremy is struggling to get around these other cars. But it's in the back, so I suppose we can let it go here and, you know, not waste too many laps. Going to come back to the restart here. Busch and Stewart. Green flag back in the air. Stewart did not get a good jump that time. And if you were to the Stewart restarts with your best opportunity to get after the 5. Now you're under fire from the 24 but the 01 is going to force the 24 a little bit wide here. And maybe give Stewart some breathing room. Or will the 01 make a look up the inside on Stewart? He will. Mark Martin going to go in the 2nd spot. So now does the 01 have anything for the 5? If he can clear Stewart. Trying to go free now. Does he have anything? Hamlin gives the bumper to his teammate there into turn number 3. As Mark Martin drives away from those 2, about 3/10 the 01 has over them. Still side by outside for third. But Mark Martin must have been 10th of a second that lap, so I don't think he'll have anything for the 5.78 impaled in the wall, and the caution is gonna fly for that. Just completely missed pit road there. And Nemechek drove straight into the barrels, gets impaled right there. So he will be out of the race. Repass goes to Dale Jr. Doesn't even hit here. Takers, so Junior will get a wave around the field. And it'll be 30 laps to go when we go back racing. That's not a lot of time around here, but we are back underway. Mark Martin did get a good jump there. Can he hang with the 5? The 5 a little wide there off turn number 1 and 2. Now Mark Martin gonna look side by side for the race lead of the 5. Slides up a little bit, but Busch able to get the drive off and clear as they head the 1. If the 01 doesn't try to give him the bumper. Again, Busch ahead of Mark Martin and Denny Hamlin. And we've got a caution, so Busch will get the try again. It's Ryan Newman and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Spun around, so too did 12 Newman. Menard got a piece of it, so too Bobby Labonte. That'll be Kenny Wallace who gets the free pass. And no one opting to pit here. There we go, Ryan Newman down pit road, Bobby Labonte in the 43 car. But Labonte is a lap down, Newman is 2 down. Newman isn't even taking tires here. They're gonna come back here to the restart. Gonna actually wave off that restart because they were a little stacked up there in the back, so we're gonna wave that one off. Where's the pace car? There it is. So we actually have to wave that one off. Not going to do a free pass for this one since I tried to get that to happen before the restart and the game just didn't allow it. So let's try it again. Or maybe, I guess we'll just go. Because these guys won't sort it out, not trying to repeat Iowa. Green flag back in the air. So the leaders will have some pretty instant lap traffic to navigate through here. All of them are going to go to the top. I thought Blaney was going to get himself impaled right there, as they head through 3 and 4. Martin trying to chase after Kyle Busch in the 5. But no one has had anything for him tonight. You know, if you guys have gotten to his inside, Matt Kenseth led a lap through pit strategy in an early caution. But truly, nobody has had anything tonight for him. Maybe if he would have a mechanical failure, that's where someone would get one on him. Then he'd go into New Hampshire looking for redemption. But the 01 still chasing after him as Stewart tries to get by teammate Denny Hamlin for second. And Mark Martin's not really going away, you know, half a second back right now. Maybe he will have something to say here at the end of this field. As he follows in the tire track to the 5, Stewart trying to get by Hamlin. Getting closer to 10 laps to go. Mark Martin not full-time here in the Cup Series, though. He ran well at North Wilkesboro a few races ago in that 01 car for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. / Ginn Racing, but Ginn hasn't shown the last few weeks. Starling Marlin's been out of the rides. Joe Nemechek's been right on it. But still, Martin is still outdriven his equipment. 10 laps to go. Busch gapped him a little bit that lap. But they may get the 88 of Kenny Wallace. So it may not be completely over just yet, is what I'm saying. Especially if we get another caution, some guys pit for tires, some don't. That'll make things interesting. Martin lost 3/10 that lap. It seems like he can take off well, but as the run goes on, he really doesn't have very much, or the 5 just doesn't take off that well, and the 01 does take off well. Whatever the case may be, it's still the Kyle Busch show here at Richmond. As they're lapping around now, inching in on 5 laps to go now. This 5 car, trying to put his name in the conversation for the championship, where the 3 favorites at the moment are Matt Kenseth, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, with Hamlin and Stewart as outliers. A little bit wide there off turn 2. Martin's going to close a little bit. 6 laps to go. About a 10th gained by the 01 that lap. And Busch back to wrapping the bottom. The 88 of Kenny Wallace going to get in the way of Kyle Busch a little bit there down the front straightaway. But Martin lost a 10 of that lap. 5 to go from Richmond. But again, Busch a little wide there off turn number 2. But unless he avoids any catastrophe, it looks like he'll hang on to win tonight. And even then, with that slip off too, the 01 car barely gained anything. Now can Mark Martin get by the 88 car into turn number 3. Makes quick work of him. 3 to go for Kyle Busch. He has been untouchable tonight. And now, with maybe 2 lap cars left to navigate, he'll be coming around to 2 laps to go here from Richmond. At number 5, CarQuest, Kellogg, Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. We called it the summer of Hendrick this season, but it was Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson, not Kyle Busch. And Martin had some sort of issue there. Martin had some sort of issue and dropped 2 spots. We'll take a look at that. But Kyle Busch is going to take the white flag here from Richmond. David Stremme up ahead, the 40 car. Will Busch get one more lap before he's done tonight? I don't think he will. But through turn 3 and 4, Kyle Busch is going to win at Richmond. Dominatingly. Let's take a look back at what happened to Mark Martin in the 01 there, because he fell all the way down to 7th. He had a fuel system failure. So Mark Martin had a mechanical failure. Coming to the white flag. And he started slowing down the back straightaway. Yeah, because these two are coming off a big head of steam. And when the fuel system's failing, it rolls like he's out of gas, even though he has the fuel. So you're just going to see him drop all of his positions and lose what was going to be an amazing second place result for him. You know, it just doesn't get any better. You know, here we are in the white flag. Off Kenseth, ends up not being the case. Kenseth gets through. You know, he's already down to P6. Kenseth slid up there, but Mark Martin had to settle there for a 6th place results here at Richmond.